Today we go back to all the gardens we've visited on English Bites this week. We've seen a range of gardens used for all sorts of different purposes. We're going to have a close look at words to do with gardening and food, and also take a look at some reflexive pronouns. First, let's visit a special healing garden in Perth. We'll hear how Carolyn started her garden.
As a way of encouraging Carolyn's appetite, I used to chop a few herbs in the food, a few bits of parsley and mint, and I was growing a few out in the back garden pots. And then I found that after a little bit, Carolyn took an interest in the herbs, and she used to go out and pick a bit of lettuce and some herbs herself, and then she very quickly became a very avid gardener.
Over here I've planted some herbs in boxes. I've got them raised because I do have a sore back. I have to be very careful of my back. So for me, for harvesting, these are all at the right height and I can just come along and harvest. This is echinacea. It's regarded as a medicinal herb. It is very beneficial for the immune system. About 3 months after I started a garden path for myself, I felt that I really wanted to share what I had learnt with others, and that's when I started to do workshops with the focus on individuals with cancer and to help them reconnect back to their environment and to their food.
Okay, so that's the story about Carolyn and her healing garden. She says, I started a garden for myself. Myself is a reflexive pronoun. Reflexive pronouns are pronouns that reflect the subject. They're formed from personal pronouns and have self or selves added. Myself, yourself, himself, herself, itself, ourselves, yourselves, themselves. Reflexive pronouns are used in 3 different ways. They're used when the subject and object of a sentence are the same. You hurt yourself. I drove myself home. She washed herself. They can also be used to emphasise a subject. I'll do it myself. I don't need anyone to help me. They did the whole job themselves. No one helped them. The bag itself was faulty. It wasn't anything else that was faulty. Reflexive pronouns can also be used as the object of a preposition when it's referring back to the subject. I'll do it by myself. I'll do it alone. He was talking to himself. Or I started the garden for myself. Okay, listen for another reflexive pronoun here.
As a way of encouraging Carolyn's appetite, I used to chop a few herbs in the food, a few bits of parsley and mint, and I was growing a few out in the back garden pots. And then I found that after a little bit, Carolyn took an interest in the herbs, and she used to go out and pick a bit of lettuce and some herbs herself, and then she very quickly became a very avid gardener.
Carolyn used to pick some herbs herself. She used to pick her own herbs. No one picked them for her. Okay, now we're going to visit our bonsai garden. Here's Tim Vivoda.
A forest is normally a group planting of trees which are all planted in random, so there's no same thicknesses, there's no same distances, no same heights, and that will give you a very nice perception of depth. There is an art to wiring the actual tree and getting a beautiful shape, and you basically use your imagination and you create what you think you want to bring out of a tree. Bonsai changed the course of my life. It actually is a hobby that takes you on a journey, and working on the trees gave me the insight of life itself.
Tim says working on the trees gave him the insight of life itself. Here, itself is being used to emphasise life. You can go to our website for more examples and help with reflexive pronouns. Now let's go to another garden. It's a community garden in Melbourne.
Just a block from the hustle and bustle of St Kilda's Ackland Street in Melbourne is this amazing oasis. Now this is Veg Out Community Garden, and it's an organic, chemical-free veggie patch run by members of the local community. There are over 140 plots here where members, families and friends can all enjoy getting their hands dirty. And when you're wandering through here, one of the very first things that strikes you is how incredibly inviting this space is. The gardens are quirky and eclectic and filled with personality, just like the people who've created them.
That was Veg Out Community Garden. It's an organic, chemical-free veggie patch. Veg is short for vegetable, but the phrase veg out is slang. It means to relax and do nothing. Veg Out is an organic, chemical-free veggie patch. Veggie, like veg, is short for vegetable. The vegetable garden is organic. Organic means chemical-free. An organic garden is a place where things are grown without using poison or any artificial chemicals. Organic has other meanings as well. It can mean relating to plants and animals, anything that's alive. It also has a scientific meaning. Anything containing carbon is said to be organic. But here the organic garden is one that is chemical-free. Let's finish by listening to a reporter talk about what makes gardens and gardening so special.
Gardens enrich our lives in all sorts of ways. They draw people close to each other. They provide nourishment and beauty. And they can inspire laughter and song.
She says gardens enrich our lives. They draw people together. They provide nourishment and beauty, and they can inspire laughter and song. Nourishment means food or nutrition. To nourish means to provide food and nutrition, so something grows and is healthy. But it can also mean to provide other help and support for life. We've seen gardens that provide all sorts of nourishment this week. And to watch all this week's stories again, or to find lots more gardening words, just go to our English Bites website.